Why taking action is so hard. In this video, I'm going to show you how to avoid getting bogged down planning and preparing without taking any action. So the problem here is that we want to grow our business, we want to grow our team, we want to have the best systems, the best operations, we want to have the best of everything. So we get focused on figuring out how to build the best systems and, we don't get around to taking action. And there's the difference between motion and action. Motion is when you have ideas and you do some research and you do some studying and, you're trying to understand the situation and you're preparing for it. That's motion. And when you're in motion, you're planning and strategizing and learning, and those are good things, but they don't produce results. So then why do we do them? Action, on the other hand, is, the types of behaviors that are going to deliver outcome. So things like when we sit down with our team and we create SOPs or, we strategize opportunities, and those are actions that are going to produce results. It's an action that's going to lead to a reaction. We know that through science, through Einstein, that action leads to reaction, and we need to get into action. Otherwise, nothing happens. So, if you're just searching for better systems and you're trying to improve things and you're doing research and writing and thinking, those are good, but those are motion only. Then you need to take it and get into action. There's a great quote that says, information is supplemental. Information is supplemental. However, implementation is fundamental. And so you need to implement what you're learning. That's the key here. And we get bogged down in this. And it doesn't matter how many times you talk to a business coach, that motion will never get you to the outcomes that you want. It'll never move you forward. You have to actually take action. That's why talk therapy just doesn't work that well. Unfortunately, it's a lot of talking and hardly any action. So the action of completing something in a day or a week, that feels good. And you actually can see some results and you can measure performance. Those are all good things. So you have to look at it from an inside out perspective. You're going to look outwards, do some research, do some studying, do some planning, but then you have to take that and get into action. And the quicker you go from the first phase to the second, the better. You will start getting results. You will be able to measure backwards and see how you've improved today versus yesterday. The research that you did yesterday, you implemented today, and now you can see the results tomorrow and you can look back. That's how it works. So, here's the thing. We like to get into motion because that allows us to feel good, right? Doesn't it feel good when you get into motion, you think you're doing some research, some writing, some thinking, and you feel good about that. But here's the thing. There's no progress there, right? And the reason is that the reason why we do motion is because we run the risk of failing. We don't want to fail. We're experts at avoiding criticism. We don't want to be criticized. We don't want to be judged about what we're doing or not doing. So, the biggest reason you slip into motion is that you want to delay failure. So, we're trying to delay failure, and so we just get into motion, we start planning, writing, thinking, and we overthink. I see this all the time with clients. They overthink things, and they don't get into action, and then they wonder what's going on, and they feel bad. And sometimes it gets really bad, and they get into a pressure cooker. Instead of having a problem and seeking an answer, they have a problem that needs a solution, an immediate solution, quick, fast. They cannot wait. They need to solve it. It's something big. It's like somebody who gets a disease. They get that disease, the doctor gives them a diagnosis, and they know they only have a limited time to live, or they have to solve it. That's it. That's how you have to treat your business, your life. You have to treat it so that you are going to learn something and then take action about it right away. I'm that way. I have a reading partner. He often says to me, I pulled a Dan. And that's because I saw something and I did something about it right away. I don't wait. If I'm procrastinating on something else by doing that, then that's incorrect. But when I see something that needs to be dealt with, I deal with it right away, there and then. If you want to take a quote out of Chet Holmes or a little bit of information out of Chet Holmes and his studies and research. You basically want to do things immediately. So if you go and check the mailbox, you bring that mail home, open up all the envelopes, recycle what needs to be recycled, take what needs to be kept, and that's it. Or deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. Or if something needs to be dealt with later on, you put it someplace where it's going to be scheduled and dealt later on. That's how you deal with things. You don't wait until later. You take them and do them right away. Same thing with email. If you're going to look at email, don't look at it unless you plan on doing something about it. Don't look at it and then plan to do something later. If you look at the subject lines and they're not important, you can just dismiss them and come back to them later. But the bottom line is, if you're brainstorming ideas, great. But then you have to take action on them. Otherwise, it becomes this fear of failure. You have an inner narrative that's running that's causing you to feel failure. Or fear of failure, and you don't want to be criticized. You do not want to reveal that you are not actually doing anything of any consequence. Years ago, I worked for a company. I was on contract, and I was doing real estate negotiations, and I remember the boss saying to me, Daniel, you either get moving or you're gone. And I remember I was doing a lot of motion. I was getting my feet wet. I was understanding the systems because I didn't understand their systems. I didn't understand real estate negotiations. I didn't understand real estate contracts. I knew nothing about that. But I took, 2 to 3 months just to gather understanding around it. And I had some opportunities there. I was going out and finding landlords and negotiating with them, but I had some opportunities, but I hadn't taken any action on it. But as soon as he said that, wow, boy, did I get into action. I took action, I went out, and I started getting some contracts and some deals. And the next thing you know, I had some really big deals coming through. Some locations that were totally, unforeseen, unreasonable, not within when perception. But I was doing them. So that's the thing, I got into action. But when procrastination becomes a form or when preparation becomes a form of procrastination, then that's when you need to change something. You need to realize that you are just procrastinating on it for fear of being judged and criticized. So if you don't recognize that you're in motion, then how are you going to take action? So you have to recognize what motion is. So when you schedule your day, you have to realize, hey, if I'm doing some reading, some studying, some writing, some planning, those are all motion. So if you like, beside those items, you can put an M. If you're writing them down, an M and circle it, that's motion, and then an A for action. Or you can just put it in your calendar and put a reminder that says whatever the task is, the tactic is, and an M or an A. And you know that you are going to be doing a bit of both every single day. You have to. If you don't take action, nothing happens. You will not get a reaction. You cannot sit and wait for clients to come in. They will not come unless you do something, unless you reach out to them, unless you provide value to them, unless you hook their attention. That's what needs to happen. So as you build your business and as you grow and as you live your life, you have to put things into action. Simple things make the big differences. Simple things. Tiny hinges open big doors, right? So tiny shifts will create all sorts of opportunities. And I learned something from Carolyn Mace that change, she talks about change, and she said that you can gauge the rate of change in your life by the thoughts that you are plugged into. So as you plan your day and you're thinking things through and you're thinking about how much is motion, how much is preparation, how much is planning, you want to divide that up. I would say do 80% action, 20% planning and preparation. That way you do more, you take more action, and you get to see the evidence of your actions. It doesn't take much time to plan and prepare, but it does take more time to take action. So 80-20. Use the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle. 80% action, 20% planning and preparation. That way you can get into motion and you will see the changes because you are now plugging your thoughts into change and plugging your thoughts into actions that are going to produce results for you. And so as you go through your life and your business, make sure that you're always in action and not just motion, because if we didn't have people that took action, just like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, these people take action. We know it. They're taking action. And sometimes a little bit much. Elon, 12 hours a day or 16 hours a day, sleeping on the floor of his plant, things like that. That's his choice, but that's his form of action, and he will see results from that action. He committed to it. He spent 3 years sleeping on that floor and working hard building his plant, and then it paid off. But it took 3 years, 3 solid years of taking action. And then you can see the results that come out of that. So once again, motion versus action, planning and preparation versus doing something, standard operating procedures, optimizing your business. And remember, it's just the narrative. It's just what's running around in here. It's just your narrative, your fear of failure, your fear of criticism. It's an inner narrative. And if you want to work on that inner narrative, there's something called RTT, and I have somebody that I can connect you with. RTT is a way of dealing with that inner narrative, creating a new narrative, meaning a new story, and that creates new outcomes. You need to have the narrative inside your mind that's going to produce the outcome you want. It's just like a movie. There's always a narrative, and you need to have a movie running inside your head and a narrative that goes with it that's going to produce the results you want so that you can go take action, because you need to believe in yourself. And like Dr. Joseph Murphy says, what we think and feel we create, and we create what we believe. So you're only going to create what you believe, and you need to think and feel it. That's how you reverse engineer that, and that's how you get results. So today, motion versus action. Do some motion, 20% of your time and your day and your week, and 80% action. Do it, get some results. Let me know how it goes. If you like this video, check the little notification bell, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.